You know how everyone hypes Miami, the noise, the nightlife, the we don't sleep vibe? I completely understand it. But Fort Lauderdale's out here doing paradise just a little bit better. It's easier, a little bit more real. You have brunch spilling out onto Las Olas, at Louis Bossi's, maybe even Earl's, boats cutting through the canals and intercoastal, and the golden hour crowd actually knows each other at Coconuts, the Fitz, or even Moxie's. It doesn't bark, it just casually takes the trophy. Yeah, no, insurance stings and hurricanes keep us humble, but that's all of South Florida. But your rush hour, that's waiting under the Las Olas Bridge while a yacht drifts right by like it actually owns the street and the waterways, and for the most part, they kind of do. Fort Lauderdale just ranked as the #1 spot here in South Florida. And if you think you know what that means, wait until you see how life here in Fort Lauderdale is really like. Fort Lauderdale isn't one of those places you just move to. Well, I mean, you can. It's a city your heartbeat eventually matches. Mornings have their own rhythm here, from the sunlight bouncing off the canals, espresso cutting through the salty air, maybe even the crisp energy drink, bridge horns echoing somewhere past Las Olas and the bridges, dogs tugging their owners past Ann's Florist right there on Las Olas before the heat kicks in. It's chaos, but also soft chaos. And then you have me and Dallas sprinting through Rio. By midday, the water actually comes alive, paddleboards slicing through the reflections, yachts idling at dock bars, and locals who all seem to know each other by name, especially at some of these lunch specials. Now, chill surface, engine humming underneath. The kind of place that really reminds you why you work this hard to live like this. And that rhythm, that's actually what we're diving into next. The lifestyle that makes Fort Lauderdale feel alive at the end of the day, but also so different from everything else here in South Florida. Now, Fort Lauderdale moves at its own wavelength. It's not the chaos of Miami, but also not the drift of some of these sleepy beach towns. It's in that rare middle ground where water, people, and rhythm really all sync up together, like a sunrise to sunset mix that never skips a beat. With over 165 miles of navigable canals cutting through the city, we are nicknamed the Venice of America. This isn't just waterfront living. Pretty much the entire lifestyle here revolves around the water. Some folks take the water taxi to brunch on Las Olas, others just hop out on their boat in their backyard, while some people actually take the free water trolley to get around on the new river. It's free and it'll take you all the way from Las Olas, pretty much to the beach, even Pompano and Hollywood. Now sure, the weather 100% helps, check this out. But it's the way people get used to the city that actually gives it life and that awe. Las Olas hums from sunrise to 2 or 3 in the morning. Locals sipping coffee, maybe grabbing a donut, shoppers ducking in and out of boutiques, grabbing a bite to eat, or maybe even hitting happy hour. Somehow really defines that Las Olas strip. Then you head east and you're out on the sand with surfers, joggers, and even walkers and bike riders. Head north, you're in Victoria Park under trees while the neighbors are trading gossip, or some people in South Florida call it chisme, under the shade. It's city living with small town manners. The kind of place where honestly your barista, your bartender, your yoga instructor, maybe even your Pilates instructor, all might be the same person, funny enough. Then once a year, the entire city shifts gears for the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which is known as the largest in-water boat show in the entire world. This boat show actually stretches across multiple venues and millions of square feet, both inside the convention center and out on the water. For 1 week, pretty much everything's floating. Yachts, helicopters, even champagne decks. Now, even if you don't own a boat, you really feel it. From the restaurant overflows, the bars, the air is buzzing, and possibility and the skyline looks like it's just showing off a little bit. This is our time to shine. Why not? But what balances it all is that old South Florida is still here and you can feel it. Just minutes from downtown, you've got the Bonnet House Museum and Gardens, which is a 1920s artist estate that's tucked between the beach and towers. You can actually get married here, I found out. And then you have Hugh Taylor Birch State Park, where you can walk, hike, bike, camp, fish, whatever you want to do. And you can walk right across the street to the beach. That mix of salt air and history and sunlight is what gives this city its soul, and honestly, its confidence. Fort Lauderdale doesn't need to prove anything to, honestly, anyone. It's calm without being slow. It's grounded, but it's also always moving. Proof that your effort can buy time back. And hey, if you're actually watching this thinking, yeah, I could 100% see myself and my family living here, that's literally what my team and I do. My name is Joe Vero, and we help people like you every single day dial in the blocks that feel like them, from canal and waterfront condos to tucked away neighborhoods that still feel local and you can still walk to everything. We're your local Fort Lauderdale real estate team of choice. You can call us, email, text us, whatever's easiest for you, we got you. Our info's in the description and on the screen. But now, back to Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale's kind of wild when you think about it, because every pocket's got its own personality. Like 5 different worlds sharing these same canals. Pick your pace first, and then the street actually will follow. So think about it this way. Victoria Park, that's your golden retriever crowd. Morning runs under banyan trees, paddleboards parked in driveways, honestly some boats parked in driveways, happy hour margaritas right around the corner on Las Olas from Flagler Village, and honestly most of the time they turn into dinner as well. It's walkable, social, and close enough to everything that your car basically collects dust. Most people have a golf cart. The city's plans are adding more bike lanes and pedestrian zones around here. You also have Holiday Park, so this one's definitely holding its value for a reason. It's that rare mix of quiet and convenience, and you actually feel it the second that you drive under some of those shaded trees. Honestly, we should get under some shade. Then you slide over to Flagler Village, and the whole vibe completely changes. What used to be warehouses and a little bit of grit is now the city's idea factory, pretty much. There's a ton of money being poured in over the years. Now you've got murals, coffee trucks, breweries, and galleries popping up all over the place. Not to mention a ton of apartment buildings and one of my favorite bars, Glitch Bar. It's unapologetic, but it still smells like paint and ambition. You'll see a guy with a sleeve tattoo walking a Frenchie right past a $5 coffee truck, and right behind it, you got a ton of condos and a ton of new construction coming for some of these massive projects like Searstown. It's the kind of neighborhood that's still figuring itself out, and that's what really makes it feel alive. Then we have Rio Vista, which is honestly my favorite. This is what happens when salt air and homes fall in love. Think manicured lawns, American flags, boats right in your backyard. And a lot of these homes have been here for generations, but they're tucked between some new construction, new development homes, like this one right behind me. It flexes quietly, and honestly, it's probably one of the best locations because you can walk to everything. Then we have Wilton Manors. That's pure heartbeat. It's vibrant, inclusive, and alive. You have pride parades, drag brunches, live music, and locals who show up. It's also one of the most pristine and clean places in all of South Florida. It's also got a great cultural center, and it gives nightlife a whole nother meaning. Wilton Manors doesn't just welcome everyone, it celebrates everyone. Now, quick question. If you did have to pick your vibe, which one would it be? Would it be the polished calm and boating lifestyle of Rio, the creative chaos of Flagler Village, or the all-love energy of Wilton Manors? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one of them. And just when you think you got this entire city figured out, Coral Ridge hits you with a plot twist. Honestly, I love Coral Ridge as well. Probably one of my top 2 favorite neighborhoods. Deep water docks, wider sidewalks, and you still have a park right within the neighborhood, even a school. More space, still minutes from the sand, probably one of the closest neighborhoods to the beach. And because of its elevation and canal depth, this area stays high on every boater's wish list, literally. And you also have a golf course. That's what makes Fort Lauderdale so addicting. It doesn't have just one type. It's maybe 5, 6, even 7 different lives all happening at once, and somehow they all work together. The artsy, the old school, the yacht club crowd, the golfing crowd, the beach junkies, everyone crosses paths here. And when you really get to know these neighborhoods, you start realizing something. This city doesn't compete with Miami, Boca, maybe even West Palm. It never had to. It's just quietly built a lifestyle everyone else here in South Florida is actually chasing. Remember when Fort Lauderdale was the punchline for spring break chaos? Well, those days are actually in the past. This isn't the city of beer bongs and board shorts anymore. Now, yes, it still is here. It's a little bit more grown up though. It's a powerhouse that's compounding faster than almost anywhere in South Florida. Now, don't get me wrong, spring break is still wild here, but downtown alone is generating more than $43 billion a year, up over 40% since 2019. That's not just a vacation and spring break economy. That's a complete boomtown, while in sandals. With the Downtown Development Authority really fueling non-stop mixed-use projects and cranes that are lining the skylines. Fort Lauderdale's gone from flip-flops to finance suits in record time, but people still go out and enjoy dinner in a polo and shorts and flip-flops. One morning, I walked through Fat Village and Flagler Village before sunrise, the air heavy with salt, and you're watching painters and developers literally working on opposite sides of the street. Murals are going up while steel frames and construction is being climbed literally right next door to them. That's the Fort Lauderdale that we're living in one shot. Creativity and construction literally sharing the same block. Now, the infrastructure, next level. Port Everglades isn't just cruise ships anymore. We're leveling up. It's a $28 billion trade hub expanding through 2026 to handle massive vessels. That's logistics, paychecks, and permanence. Even the new Omni Hotel coming here, adding on to the convention center, it's going to be a destination. Now, for the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport is deep into a $50 million modernization with 263 daily flights and capacity for 50 million passengers by 2035. More routes, bigger opportunities, and the kind of buzz you can feel. Honestly, most people take it instead of going to Miami International. It's a lot easier. Then there's the Bright Line, which is a complete game changer. I love the Bright Line. You can live by the water, work downtown, and be in Miami and Orlando without ever having to touch 95 or the Turnpike. It's turned Fort Lauderdale into Florida's living room hub, connected, fast, and effortless. What's wild though is how local it still feels at the end of the day. City priorities now lock in resilience, walkability, and better public spaces like where we're at. Proof it's leveling up while keeping its soul intact. Big redevelopments like that of the Pier 66, even the new St. Regis Bahia Mar, are bringing luxury, jobs, condos, but they're also building hangout spots that locals can actually use, like great restaurants. This isn't an overnight glow up. Expansion with both feet on the dock and a laid back beach town that figured out how to evolve without ever losing itself and keeping that charm. All right, we gotta actually keep it real though. Beauty here does have its dues and its dividends. You'll pay a little bit more to live here than your buddy maybe in like West Palm Beach or even out west. Insurance here, it stings. The average premium in Broward County now floats right around $7,000 to about $12,000. Flood policies can actually tack on more if you're sitting right on the water. But people don't move to Fort Lauderdale, honestly, to save money sometimes. They actually move here because every dollar buys sunlight, like you can see, motion, salt in the air, your boat in the backyard. And locals joke that the real Florida tax isn't actually income, it's the humidity. It's freaking hot out. You earn your lifestyle here. You wash your car and it rains 5 minutes later. Honestly, the best time, super early in the morning. You schedule a showing and the bridge lifts for a yacht the size of a hotel. And that's the point. Fort Lauderdale doesn't run on convenience. It's actually running on rhythm. It's the trade-off of living in a city that's pretty much alive 24/7 without losing its chill, but also not on the same level as Miami. Those higher insurance bills, they come with upgrades though. Newer builds here have impact glass, raised foundation, and advanced drainage. Actually, a lot of the homes here now have impact glass. Stuff that doesn't only protect your home, but also protects your value and honestly your family. The city's also pushed out a $200 million stormwater and seawall upgrade plan just in the last few years. So while other coastal spots are still trying to catch up, Fort Lauderdale's actually building smarter, stronger, and for the future because they know what's coming here. Sure, the bills hit a little bit harder here, groceries run higher, but I mean, that's across all of South Florida. And dining out, especially around Las Olas or downtown, can slap you with an easy $150, $200 bill just for 2 people. I'm talking appetizers, an entree, maybe 2 drinks and a dessert. Now, you still can grab sushi by the water, water taxi ride home, and live music out at Howl at the Moon. The receipt feels a little bit lighter though when you're living near the water. Locals know the hacks, happy hours that stretch way past sunset, and neighborhoods like that of Coral Ridge Country Club where you can still get the space without giving up proximity. And hurricane season, it'll humble you fast, but it also glues the community together in an odd way. Especially if you've lived here, you know it. Neighbors checking in on generators, checking in to see if you got food, kids playing out in the driveway when the power's out. Honestly, that was the most fun thing growing up. And there's a weird beauty in that shared chaos that brings everyone closer together and a reminder that this city isn't fragile. It's actually forged. Because here, resilience isn't just a buzzword, it's actually a lifestyle. And that same grit that rebuilds after a storm, it's the exact energy fueling what's coming next here to Fort Lauderdale. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite part, the money, because everyone always asks the same question. Can I actually afford to live that Fort Lauderdale life? Now, Fort Lauderdale isn't Miami expensive by any means, but it's also not a bargain either. The median home price right now in Fort Lauderdale sits right around $650,000. with condos still floating in the mid to low $400,000 range if you know where to look. Hint, hint, Gulf Mile, direct on the ocean, a little bit older building, but you can get a great deal there. Rents, however, hover right around $2,800, about $3,200 a month for a 1-bedroom, 2 bedrooms in that $35,000 to about $4,000 a month range. Groceries, they're a little bit higher, up about 7 to 10% higher than the national average. Definitely feel it at Publix, like anywhere else, Fresh Market, Whole Foods. But we also have Aldi, Trader Joe's, and Walmart. Coffee, about $5 to $6. Energy drinks, $3 like anywhere else. And we do have pay for parking pretty much everywhere, so you will need to budget for that. Drinks on Las Olas, margarita, mojito, maybe even a nice whiskey on the rocks, about $12 to $15, but some great happy hours. Now here's where the math gets interesting. Fort Lauderdale gives you value in your lifestyle yield. I mean, just check this out. You're not trading for a fantasy zip code. You're choosing walkable waterfronts, canal-front dinners, sunrise workouts, and a community that actually lives outdoors. I mean, I would be out here every single day. That $650,000 home is just minutes from the beach, 5 from a boat ramp, and 1 from a sunset that makes you feel like you've lived in paradise. You can chase lower cost of living cities all day, but you'll trade time, weather, energy, and a lifestyle for it. What's the point of saving a few hundred a month if you're stuck inside half the year? I honestly just couldn't do the cold. That's just me though. Fort Lauderdale is a you get what you pay for kind of market. Only here, line items that turn into memories. And the best part, the city's growth engine means that spending isn't sunk. It's actually an investment. Downtown's $43 billion annual impact, major redevelopments like that of the Pier 66, Bahia Mar, brand new condos coming everywhere, and infrastructure projects at Port Everglades keep home values and jobs climbing. We're pretty much built out. The only way they get built is vertical. Translation, your cost of living buys into an economy that's scaling up, not really plateauing. So yeah, brunch at Louis Bossi might run you $50 to $75, but you can also grab tacos on Federal at Zona Fresca for literally like $10 and still end the night watching boats drift past the new river. It's not about being cheap, it's about knowing where your money actually feels good and those hidden gem spots, because that's what it's all about. And here's the real flex. It's not how much things cost, but actually what you get back for it at the end of the day and how you and your family live your ultimate lifestyle. Fort Lauderdale isn't just growing, it's evolving. We've moved past the postcard cliches. This isn't just about sand and sailboats anymore. This entire street, they're just building brand new homes. Downtown alone is driving a $43 billion annual impact, up 44% since 2019. Call it what it is, momentum. You can feel it when you look up. I mean, look right over here. We have the brand new Omni Hotel, cranes in the sky, not chaos, real projects with purpose. The Fat Village redevelopment is bringing creative offices, restaurants, and lofts to the Flagler Village corridor, along with the Searstown project. And with the Bright Line slicing through downtown, your morning commute actually just became a lifestyle choice. You can easily make it down to Miami or up to West Palm pretty quickly. Live in Lauderdale, grab coffee at Wells Coffee, and you're in Miami in about 30 to 40 minutes. That's not bad, and you don't have to drive. The job scene's also evolved. We're way past just the bartenders, beach hotels era. I mean, yes, we still have it, but Fort Lauderdale's pulling talent from finance, tech, aviation, and the marine industries, which is huge. The Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance helped over 150 companies actually expand or relocate here last year. High wage growth, meaning a coastal lifestyle. Even the names moving in are different. Fintech firms, real estate groups, marine engineers, careers with steel toe bones. Think about it, real quick. What would your dream setup be if you lived here? Working remote from a canal front condo, maybe working right on the beach, running your business out of Flagler Village at a coffee shop like Crema, or teaching surf lessons on the weekends at Deerfield Beach? Let me know in the comments. I love seeing what kind of life people picture for themselves down here. Maybe even just retired, hanging out on a boat every day. I don't blame you, I would hang out with you too. Schools are keeping pace too. We got Nova Southeastern University, keeps cranking out healthcare and business grads. Honestly, Davie's becoming a college town. We got Broward College that's powering the workforce, and magnet programs are teaching the next generation how to build boats, not just park them. That's the engine behind what actually makes this city work, quite literally, at the end of the day. Add it all up, the downtown redevelopment, the port and airport expansion, the new commercial hubs, even the new condos, and Fort Lauderdale's future, Looks a lot less like a retirement zone, which a lot of people think it is, and more like a South Florida powerhouse. I mean, the Port Everglades 20-year vision plan alone sits at $3 billion, and the Fort Lauderdale master plan runs through about 2035. That's infrastructure, not just speculation. We're going to transform. Now, we're not chasing flash here like some other cities. We're actually building sustainability. And you can feel it walking through the city, walking through these neighborhoods, and even walking the beach. That quiet confidence this is, oh yeah, we're on to something big here. I mean, Fort Lauderdale could be the next big thing here in South Florida. So if you've been watching from the sidelines wondering if this boom is real, I'm telling you right now, it's 100% real. And it's actually just getting started. But coming up next, let's actually talk about what it really costs to actually live this lifestyle in Fort Lauderdale and why most people still say it's actually worth every single penny. Now, you can measure growth, income, and skyline cranes all day, but what earns Fort Lauderdale that top spot actually isn't something that you can graph, chart, or measure. It's the undertow. It's gentle, but it actually makes you and people breathe a little bit easier, move a little bit slower, dream bigger out on the water, walk down Las Olas on a random Tuesday night, and you feel it instantly. I'm telling you, on Tuesday night, conversations drift out from restaurants, boats are gliding by back there on the gondola, it's the gondolas, and you also have this air soft with salt and music. It's not staged, it's just everyday Fort Lauderdale. Taco Tuesday is kind of lit though. A city with 165 miles of navigable waterways where the water literally shapes how people live, move, and unwind. We are the yachting capital of the world and, nicknamed the Venice of America after all. Views pull you in, but the vibe actually keeps you here. The creative pulse running through Fat Village, Flagler Village, even the walkable calm of Victoria Park, the balance of hustle and ease. Fort Lauderdale isn't trying to copy Miami. It's defining its own lane, and it's really carving out its own niche. This city doesn't demand your attention, it actually earns it. While Miami might flex louder, Boca might be priced higher and a little bit more bougie, but Fort Lauderdale, it hums. It's ambition and ease all in the same breath. And that's honestly what people fall for. Your morning coffee hits just a little bit different with this kind of view because it's right by the water. And a chat at the dog park quickly turns into a new friend or maybe even a boyfriend or girlfriend. I've heard it happen. Even the humidity, yeah, it'll test you, but it's everywhere here in South Florida. Somehow, it actually makes you feel alive. It's the kind of city that lets you create something lasting instead of just showing up for the photo. There is a quiet pride in that. From the cafe owner who's held down Las Olas since the 90s, to the new families that are actually settling in here in Rio, Victoria Park, and Coral Ridge, because the city, it just feels right to them and it feels like home. You don't really get it until you've actually lived that Fort Lauderdale lifestyle for yourself. Now, Fort Lauderdale isn't just a move, it's actually a mood, a place where you can chase big dreams without losing yourself in the noise. Hustle minus the headache. The stats say it's one of the fastest growing cities here in South Florida. Could you blame them? But what keeps people here is how it makes them feel at the end of the day. Like they finally found a city that moves at their speed while also having all the conveniences. Have you ever had that moment where you're sitting right here by the water with a nice ice cold drink in hand and think, yeah, this is it, I finally made it. That's Fort Lauderdale in pretty much one frame. It sneaks up on you. It's not loud, it's not polished, just quietly perfect in its own unique way. Last week, one of my clients actually texted me a photo of one with their morning coffee, the other one with their morning mimosa, dockside right here in Fort Lauderdale, sunrise glowing off the canal. They moved here a little over a year ago from New York. No caption, just I'm never going back. That's the stuff that gets me because this place changes people. Now, it's not overnight, but it is for good. Once you live here, the lifestyle is completely unmatched and you don't really realize it till you do get here. Now, when you really think about it, that's actually the magic of Fort Lauderdale. The energy, the neighborhoods, the growth, everything adds up to a city that's really alive in every sense and also unique in its very own way. You got the waterways that shape your weekends, the downtown pulse that keeps the energy going, but not as crazy as Miami, and just enough grit to remind you this is still South Florida. That's why I rank it #1. Not because it's perfect, but because it's perfectly balanced in its own way. Now look, I'm not selling you a dream. We want to place you where your mornings make sense for both you and your family. Whether that's a condo on Las Olas, a condo on the beach, or a waterfront home where your boat's pretty much your second car. If you've been thinking about making the move here to Fort Lauderdale or South Florida, hit us up. You can call me, email, text, whatever's easiest for you. Our info's in the description and on the screen. And even if you're just curious, reach out. Half the fun is figuring out what your kind of Fort Lauderdale or South Florida living actually looks like here. Now, I will say, not just the Fort Lauderdale area, but also the greater Fort Lauderdale area opens up your options. Some of the best neighborhoods, the best pockets. There's places that you don't want to be waiting around to see it get discovered. So when you're really ready to see what this South Florida lifestyle and Fort Lauderdale lifestyle looks like, reach out or click around on the channel to see some of the more videos here. Your backdoor key to the blocks and the beat that make this place the real #1 in South Florida. Because Fort Lauderdale isn't about the move. It's about the moment you realize you finally got it right and you actually feel at home. I appreciate you watching and sticking around, and I'll catch you in the next video.